And I think we're going live. We're live! Hello,
We're
everybody.
live.
Yes.
Welcome to Half Baked Science.
Oh
I
no.
got a hype button and Stephanie hates it.
Oh. Why you do this to me? Oh, wait. There.
Uh, this this is a live stream podcasting where we talk about things that are half baked, may
Mm-hmm.
have to do with science. I'm Allen Pan. I've got a serious ear infection in my right ear.
That's Allen Pan, and this is Estefannie. Thank you for coming to our podcast. So, um, tell me about your week.
Oh my goodness. I got some freelance work from another YouTube channel. I don't think I'm allowed to. I didn't sign NDA or anything, but it'd probably be rude if I talk too much about that.
Okay.
They needed me to build some stuff for them on very short notice. Had to ship it to Pennsylvania, like 2 day
Ooh.
shipping. It was like a huge box too. I ended up building this big thing, weighed like 25 pounds.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have no idea if it's gonna make it there in one piece. We'll find out tomorrow.
That sounds
I've
fun.
I've heard that the person on the other end of this is not very handy, so like it's kind of like sending a Mars rover out. Like once it
Um.
lands, you can't count on it to being able to like fix itself at all. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So so we'll see if any part of it is broken. It's just gonna be a nightmare because he's
Oh.
not gonna be able to fix it, and I'm probably just gonna have to be on the phone like trying to land the airplane.
Yeah.
Like, do you have pliers?
Yeah.
Do you have a screwdriver? All right. What do you see? So I'm just hoping it doesn't show up broken, but I'm basically counting on it. I mean, 2 day
Yeah.
shipping,
Yeah.
like that thing's getting thrown around. There's
But
absolutely gonna
that's
be
the
a day.
best kind of debugging, though. Like when you do
Ugh.
it on the phone and you can't see anything and you have to give instructions, just like, okay, do you see? I don't know, like, is the screen black? Well, what is black? What do you mean? It's the
Well,
best kind of
part of the
debugging.
problem is
Hmm.
also is that they insisted that this the thing that I built be a surprise. So like
Oh, great. So they don't
so
even
like
know what it
no,
is?
they can't. So really like best case scenario, it shows up and it works and it's
Mm-hmm.
not broken.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Worst case scenario, it shows up and it's broken, and then I need to like figure out how to get this guy to fix it, and then also the surprise gets ruined because they'd have to go in there and
Yeah.
mess with all. Anyways, how's your week?
Oh, well, just good too. I'm working on the Secret Santa project that is
Oh
supposed to
God,
be, yeah.
right.
It is supposed to be like a 1 day build, and it's already been a few days because I'm like, everything you plan out, you're like, oh, everything's gonna, if everything goes well, it should be a day
Was it
build.
supposed to be a 1 day bill? I feel like there was a lot of rules that no one is actually following.
Oh
Like,
no.
because like I know for a fact, like I've heard that it was supposed to be less than $100. I
Yeah.
guess it's also supposed to be a 1 day build.
Yeah.
And there's like definitely other YouTubers who I won't name who are like not following those rules at all.
Well, you're talking to people. You're talking to people. Are you? Do you?
Just without details, but yes, yeah. But
It's
I
it's
mean,
James, isn't it?
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who James is, but like I definitely so I haven't I've been planning a lot. I don't know if I've
Mm,
really built anything yet, so mine could still be a 1 day build.
okay.
It's just been like weeks of
Hmm.
preparation,
Hmm.
but on the 1 day, maybe.
Well,
Actually, no,
that's
not
what
at all
I'm
because it's like
counting. I still count the
not
preparation part.
well that's no good then because I
Yeah.
definitely even at the build now that I think about it, it's got some wood parts that are definitely gonna need to be like sealed with something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a day just for like the polyacrylic to cure. So,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah. Mine has wood too, but I found the piece that I wanted like almost ready to go. But I still need to sand it. I still need to stain it, and that takes
oh, you're
time.
staining. I
Hmm.
am no none of that.
Mine
Too
is just
fancy.
like I'm working towards. I can tell it's like a simple build, but I'm working up towards making it look really nice, basically.
Okay,
Hmm.
mine is it's gonna look like a 1 day build, and I'm really counting on like one mechanism on it in
Hmm.
particular working, and then that's it.
Wait,
Like
who are you making it for?
I'm not telling you.
I know you told Ruth.
It's a secret
You
Santa.
totally told Ruth, and I know
I
it.
told Ruth because it was an accident because I forgot the rules for a second, and I she messaged me on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, hey, I got X," and then I was like, "Oh, wait, pretend I didn't tell you that." I was just very excited to let her know that I had received the email with the drawing in it.
Oh.
But I figured it's okay because Ruth was sort of like semi in charge of this whole
Yeah, she
shtick
is.
show.
She is.
Shtick show.
Yeah. Anyways, well.
The shipping for that. Speaking of shipping, the shipping for that for my thing is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I'm worried about that too. I'm trying to get it shipped by this weekend.
Yeah, that's not happening for me. I'm gonna ship it. I'm gonna ship it like hopefully before Thanksgiving, and then I think I can make it ship in 5 business days. So then
That should be
I don't know.
enough. Oh, so
By
you're.
that point,
I
at
know
that point,
that.
it'd be like first week of December, but that's probably fine, right?
So you didn't get anyone in the UK.
Give him a no. I didn't say that either. I'm not saying one way or the other. I'm just saying you can ship something in 5 business days anywhere you want for the right price.
Yeah, for the right price, of course. Definitely not $100.
More than $100.
Yeah.
That's why I'm assuming that does not count towards the overall budget, because otherwise there's no way this is gonna get done.
No way. Yeah. No. Well, okay. Are you ready for some stories?
I think
Let's just dive right into it. Let's do this.
On the stories.
All right.
Let me actually find the live stream here so I can.
Oh yeah. Okay, you're in charge of the comments now. You're pretty good at that. Yeah, you're in charge of it.
I'm in charge of the comments.
Yeah.
We're called Half-Baked Science, right?
Oh my gosh, I sent you the link.
But it's on my phone, and all right, here we go. I got this stupid thing on my head.
All right.
Go. See, this is the issue with going on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because I think people are expecting it on Wednesday.
Oh, do you want to explain what happened?
Oh yeah, I had a meeting scheduled yesterday during the podcast time. So that's my bad.
It's okay. Yeah.
I take full responsibility for that one.
It's okay. I was like, well, am I going to have to do it alone or am I asking someone else?
Skip a week. It happens. It happens all the time.
Yeah. It's fine. It's
like
fine.
next Wednesday, or I mean Thursday or whatever.
Wednesday. Wednesday. Please, let's stick to a date.
So, here we are on Thursday. Got 2 viewers. Hey viewers.
Oh man.
How's it going?
Hey, thank you for joining us. That's pretty good. Let's
all right.
see.
Lay something on me, Estefannie.
All right, here goes.
Lay it out. I am bread, and you are a knife with peanut butter on it.
All right.
Let's
dive right into it. Okay.
Spread it.
So I'm gonna talk about the homemade parachute suit.
Homemade parachute suit.
Yes.
Is this gonna end in tragedy?
Let's just dive right into it.
All right. It's gonna be something.
This is a story about Franz Reichelt or Reichelt. I don't know pronunciations. He's a dude from Austria who lived in France. Oh, do you know how to pronounce it? Reichelt? France, but he's Austrian.
Austria. I can pronounce both those countries. Yes, Austria and France.
So go for it. Reichelt.
Reichelt. What?
How do you pronounce that in Austrian?
A guy named Reichelt?
That's his last name.
I'm repeating phonetically what you're saying. I have no ability.
Well, I'm saying it phonetically. I'm saying it how it's spelled in English.
I'm an audio mirror, and you're saying Reichelt, so I'm gonna say Reichelt.
Okay, we'll stick to that then. It's 1912 February. Okay.
February 19th.
In Paris, and it's
Paris, so it's chilly.
Pretty cold. Yeah.
Pretty cold. Les Miserables.
So you're starting to picture everything in black and white. People are moving faster because film. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It always is.
And it's also the same year when the Titanic sunk, but we're not talking about that.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So this dude is the Austrian-born French tailor dude is also known as the Flying Tailor. So he started his own tailoring business, and business was good. So when he, I guess, got bored of tailoring, in July 1910, he decided to start developing a parachute suit. And he was really passionate about it, but also there was like a prize. Yeah.
They have regular parachutes, or is he just all in one go trying to come up with a parachute suit? Like, was there an existing parachute idea at that point, 1912?
Let me tell you about the price, actually. Yes. So there wasn't an actual parachute, working parachute, but
Wait, so this guy wanted to combine an idea that didn't already exist on its own with a suit. That'd be like if I was like, Estefannie, I'm in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna try and invent anti-gravity suit. Like, we don't, if you don't have the anti-gravity to begin with, how are you supposed to put it in a suit? Well, they didn't have parachutes.
I mean, you gotta give him some credit here because there were a lot of aviators and they were dying. And so there was a contest on...
Why wouldn't he just invent parachutes then? Why does he need...
Well, because here's the thing. Wait, let me just tell you the story. He's a tailor. He's a tailor, right? So he likes suits. Anyways, so there's no actual good parachute yet, and there's a prize. So I think like by 1911, it was like 10,000 francs. Whatever.
That's a lot in 1912.
1912, that's a lot of money.
I imagine.
Like $1 million, maybe more. I don't know.
Someone is listening to us at 6 a.m. right now.
Wow. Where? Who? How? Why? What's...
Ibrahim Kalantan.
Nice.
It is 6 a.m. wherever they are.
Where are they?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Top morning to you.
Okay.
We're gonna be telling you some stories to start your day. But a guy who's inventing a parachute suit.
The homemade parachute suit. Exactly right.
Why wouldn't you just get like a hot air? They had hot air balloons then, right? You just get a hot air balloon.
Yeah. And
then you just get rid of the basket and get rid of the fire. It's a cold air balloon. That's what a parachute is, right? It's a cold air balloon.
But he's trying to make it functional. He thinks he wants to invent something that looks good, that is not something extra that you have to carry. And he actually maximized it so that it was actually really, really light. So there were other inventors trying to do a parachute. So there was a competition, 10,000 francs prize. And people are trying to do like a parachute that's already open and like throwing dummies to test that out. And it's made out of canvas, super heavy, super big, and it's already open. Like you have to jump with it open, right? Yeah. And this guy's like, no, I want like to be able to open, like spread my arms and have like silk wings come out and, you know, glide down. So he has a dream.
He's a man ahead of his time, but like by way too much. They just did not have the materials at that point in time to do any of that.
Right. So, I'm going through my notes. Sorry, because we're jumping around. Okay.
You always write so many notes, and then we just can't get through most of it.
I know, but okay, we're gonna. They're not that many
notes. Gotta make the cheat sheet version. Like
these are tiny.
You fit it on the postcard for the test when the professor lets you do that.
Yeah,
you gotta go with that version.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
So he's making a parachute suit. But what is he making it out of?
Okay, let me tell you. I told you silk, and he puts it inside the suit.
100% silk.
100% silk inside the suit. You open your arms, and that's how it deploys. Also, he's testing with dummies, but he's only testing from his apartment, his 5th floor apartment. So
that's not high enough.
High enough. I agree. So he drops them. The first test, they kind of do lower the impact, but later, as he continues to tweak it to make it weight less, they do not succeed at all. None of his tests.
Yeah,
so,
that's not surprising.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy with modern day hindsight. Must have sucked for that guy. I can't imagine like custom silk parachute suits could have been cheap. Was he just like investing all of his money into this hoping he'd win the 10,000, huh?
Yeah. And then he redesigned it, and he was getting to 130 square feet of silk. 130 square feet. That's a
lot. What is that? That's a 10 by 13 sheet of silk.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's all just that's just got to come from China at that point, right? Like 1912. Where does he even get that much? I wouldn't even know where to get that much silk now off of like Alibaba. Like, where does he get silk?
Well, he was a tailor, so he had his ways.
Yeah, his sources.
Yeah, he had his sources.
He's got a silk guy. He's got a silk guy.
So, anyways, he he tried once jumping himself at a 26-foot drop, but he had hay under, and so he just fell, didn't hurt himself.
Still, I don't think he understands like the amount of distance you really need to land properly.
Well,
26 feet is like 2.5 stories.
Well, here's the thing. He did understand because he kept asking for permission to do his tests at the Eiffel Tower. I guess it was like the tallest thing back then.
Okay.
And so he kept asking for permission, and nobody would let him. Well, nobody, the police or whatever.
If he does that, he's gonna die. If
Well,
he jumps off the Eiffel Tower with a parachute.
he was testing with dummies, right? So
Okay.
yeah, he kept
Yeah.
applying to test his dummies at the Eiffel Tower. So he finally, after a whole year and so of requesting permission, he finally gets it, and he announces to all of the press that he's going to do a test at the Eiffel Tower on a Sunday morning. And then he brings 2 friends that are actually cinematographers from back then. That's like pretty impressive.
Did they have cinematographers?
It was
back
just
then?
starting. It was barely starting, right? That's like when they had like the train coming at you and people like ran out of the theater, right?
Yeah, so he's friends with like the 2 guys who are like first starting to do that.
Probably the Lumiere brothers or something.
He's got a silk guy and he's got a film guy. This dude had some connections.
Definitely resourceful here. So he brought his 2 friends that were both cinematographers. One of them went upstairs with him to the Eiffel Tower to record from where he's jumping, and the other dude was like right like downstairs, but far enough away to be able to shoot the whole thing. And
all right.
Yeah, and he kept telling everybody until the day that he was going to test with dummies. Yeah, but then the day of,
then what?
The day of, he shows up wearing the suit, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna jump." So
this dude is gonna die. Oh, is there something wrong with our stream? Is our stream still going? Hold on, I might have paused this on my own accidentally. No, here we go. It's going. No, that's just me being a dummy.
No, it's fine.
So, if he, is that just a matter of him like having a lot of faith in himself for no reason, a lot of like unearned confidence? Is that just like, did he have any particular reason why he would think that was a good idea at all?
Well, he kept claiming that he was not testing on a high enough area, right?
I agree.
Yeah. But then he was so convinced that his invention was going to work that he wanted to try to experiment on himself. And I have the quote in French.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear this French quote.
Ooh, my high school French.
Is that your French accent? That is so offensive.
Shut up. No, he said, "Je veux tenter l'expérience moi-même et sans chiquer." I don't know what chiquer is.
Okay.
Car je tiens à bien prouver la valeur de mon invention. So basically, he said, I want to try the experiment myself, and without trickery, as I intend to prove the worth of my invention. And so
this is gonna end in tragedy. That's the only way Estefannie stories end is in tragedy. This guy's fate is sealed. The second you started talking about this guy in the future, his fate in the past was sealed 4-dimensionally. I swear to God. Did he make it?
Well, let me tell you the story. Hold on. So, his friends are like, "Hey, don't do it. It's a terrible idea. Please don't jump." They tell him like, "It's super windy. Don't do it." And his final design was 320 square feet, and it was 20 pounds. And it looked like he just looked a little chubby. It looked like a regular suit, but kind of chubby. So everybody was impressed by it. They're like, "It looks really good, and if it works, great, blah, blah, blah."
At that point, that suit was probably like bulletproof to like very small arms fire at that point. Like if they had that much silk,
old school bulletproof vests were made of silk.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. Fun fact.
Fun fact, Archduke Ferdinand, the guy who got assassinated and started World War I, was actually wearing a silk bulletproof vest at the time, but he got shot in the head, so it didn't matter.
I was gonna say, but he got assassinated.
But if he had gotten it in the torso,
yeah,
like there's a good chance that the bullet wouldn't have even penetrated him. That silk is really good stuff if we're talking like small caliber arms and it's like folded over many, many times. It sounds like this dude came up with a pretty solid bulletproof suit. If he had just
you're right,
marketed it as that, I think it would have been much better.
But the price was for parachute.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
So
I think you killed this guy, Estefannie. I think you reverse time murdered this man.
What? No. As he climbed the stairs, he paused. He turned back to the crowd, raised his hand, and wished them a cheery "a bientôt." See you soon. At 8:22 a.m., observed by a crowd of about 30 journalists and curious onlookers, a little more than 53 meters or 108, this is totally copy-paste, 187 feet above the ground.
Still not very, if you're testing a parachute, like 180 feet still doesn't seem like that much.
Yeah, and as far as I understand, this thing, when it deployed, it was like 15 feet long, which is like a little too long too, isn't it? I don't know.
If he's trying to like paraglide, I think that's about right, but I don't know. I've never been paragliding.
Well, after adjusting his apparatus with the assistance of his friends and checking the wind direction by throwing a piece of paper taken from a small book, he placed one foot on the guardrail, hesitated for about 40 seconds, then leapt outwards. His parachute, which had seemed to be only half open, folded around him almost immediately, and he fell for a few seconds.
I knew you killed him
before striking.
You killed the man just now.
The frozen soil.
By talking about this person, you have effectively murdered this man because
no,
the cause and effect is tied. It goes both ways. It goes both ways. Time is not a river. It's a pool. And you're in one end of the pool, and you've just killed this man at the other side of the pool.
I'm just reporting. Your
choice of subject guarantees their death in the past.
No. Anyways, he stroked the frozen soil at the foot of the tower. The next day's newspaper were full of the story of complete with photographs. They had footage. They keep showing the footage over and over and over. You actually can find it on YouTube. I don't know if you want to watch it.
Probably a GIF at this point. You could probably post a GIF of this dude dying on Twitter, which is something that he probably, never would have known. He definitely didn't know that his death was sealed by a small podcast.
I mean,
about
he
years in the future.
It seems like he craved a little bit of fame, so we're giving that to him right now.
I mean, if it was me, I would rather not die by jumping off the Eiffel Tower.
I think
it's almost like in 100 years.
Yeah.
On a media platform I cannot explain to you because you cannot comprehend it. It's like a holographic fractal thing.
Yeah.
That beams directly into people's spinal cords. But you will have a moment where you are a repeating mimetic thing of information on that platform if you jump off the Eiffel Tower right now. I would just not. I would rather not do that.
So here's a question for you.
I would rather not.
No, I'm not talking about parachuting.
Spinal cords in the future.
Would you ever trust any of your experiments enough to test it on yourself?
I do that all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how are you any different than this guy?
Because I do a reasonable amount of research first to make sure that the things I put on me don't kill me, and I always have a way out. So anytime I gotta strap something on me that has a lot of potential energy, like a flamethrower or a big lipo battery or whatever, there's always a quick release. There's always I made these fire bending gauntlets once that had accelerometers, and they would automatically shoot a ball of fire when you threw a punch. Yeah. And the whole thing, it's like one strap that wraps around and you got to close your fist. If you open your arm, the whole thing just falls right off your hand. So that guy should have had a bungee rope. Did they have bungee?
Yeah. Well, they had rope.
A backup. You gotta have a backup.
He refused rope. He refused a net. He was like, how am I going to prove to you that I believe in this thing if I have a thing to Anyways.
Anything for the views. He got the likes, he got the subscribers, he got the views. He definitely.
Yeah, he got the virality across the world.
Oh boy! If only I mean, if probably better that it happened then and not. I mean, if he was around today, he'd be doing it on TikTok. How many people do you think have died on TikTok? Probably not that many yet.
No, but YouTube
It's
definitely
bound to
have.
happen.
Yeah, and Instagram too.
Definitely died on YouTube. People definitely died on Instagram.
Oh, you haven't heard? There's a lot of Instagrammers that died because they were trying to take a picture on Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah. Like they fall off of like a waterfall.
And this guy was like the first guy to do that.
It's like an Instagrammer.
Because
Same thing.
He set up he was like, hey, record me doing this. It's going to be really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And then he died.
So do you
think... And then
think...
they still filmed it, and it still ended up... Yeah, I think this
on YouTube
was the
right now.
first Instagrammer, actually.
He's the first viral dude.
Influencer.
No, but also YouTuber, because it's on YouTube, I guess.
Instagram's got video, too.
I guess so, but he's a maker that made something and tested it and recorded it, and now it's on YouTube.
I've got your pattern now. I've got you pegged, Estefannie.
What do you mean?
You find historical figures, you choose them, and then through the telling of their life's tale, you reverse quantum entangle murder them. And now that I know that, I know how every single one of your stories is going to end.
You don't know that because...
Look, Jay right there, quantum theory. Jay knows what I'm talking about. Yes, Estefannie is in fact a time god. And Abraham says the Stephanie stories always end with a dark ending. I think it's more that it's not that they end dark, it's that she makes them dark by telling them.
I'm just telling you what happens in life.
You're talking about whether or not you realize it. Crazy selfie stories from Soy Sasha. Yeah, the only thing is, though, that guy wasn't taking a selfie. He was getting his friends to do it. So
exactly.
I think the first person to die from a selfie would have happened much later. I do wonder if it historically figure out who the first person to die
because of a selfie
trying to take a selfie.
I don't know. I mean, until Instagram, I don't know any. But let me tell you more fun facts about this real quick.
Oh, is there a bright side to this, or is it just he died?
Just a fun fact. I guess it's not so fun. So, on February 2nd, 1912, 2 days before his jump, an American dude called Frederick R. Law successfully parachuted from the viewing platform of the torch of the Statue of Liberty above sea level and 151 feet from the base of the statue.
Oh, get wrecked, French guy!
Get
wrecked!
That's
American ingenuity. That guy didn't die. He jumped off a thing and he didn't even die.
And it worked?
Get freaking wrecked. French guy who died 100 years ago, who Estefannie killed with her time powers.
I didn't do anything. But anyways, so this dude did it, and also a patent for a packable parachute had been applied by a dude called Gleb Godelnikov. So he was a little too late with his invention that didn't really work.
And then he freaking died.
And that's the story of Franz Reichelt, the homemade parachute suit.
That whole guy sucks.
But that's half-baked science. He made a homemade parachute suit.
That is as they say, a lose situation. He just didn't. There's no good to come out of that. There's absolutely none.
Nope.
That's tragic.
Well, that's
all right.
What he thought was science. Your turn.
So, good news for you, Estefannie, is that I anticipated this, and I play my Uno reverse card because I've got a story that also has a very tragic ending.
I'm ready for this.
Story that I think is actually sadder than yours in many ways.
Ooh, that's it.
It is a story of star-crossed lovers.
What is that?
Of language, of intense drug use during the 60s, and Yeah, that's it. That's the
Okay.
taglines right there.
So you said,
Okay.
what was it? Drug abuse? What else?
There's drug
Star?
use.
Uh-huh.
There's romance.
Oh, romance.
There's animals. Because
Okay, your favorite?
it's
Yeah,
gotta have.
your
Yeah, I
favorite.
love them
Yeah.
animals.
Yeah, yeah.
Star-crossed lovers.
What is
Language
that?
barriers.
Yeah, like this one.
It's got the whole shebang. All
Okay,
right. So
okay.
let's just I don't know. Let's start with
Let's
talking about a man named John C. Lilly.
wait.
Um,
Set the time and the place for me, please.
yes. John C. Lilly
Uh-huh.
is a he seems to have a lot of professions, but I think the thing that he gets known most for is during the 60s
Mm-hmm.
in America,
Mm-hmm.
right? He he starts researching. He's kind of like a doctor kind of a guy, psychoanalyst kind of a guy, and he gets really interested in sort of the biology of the mind.
Cool.
Uh,
Cool. What time is this? What year?
the 1960s.
In the
1960s.
US?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I just
mean,
needed to know. Yeah.
it's a beautiful time.
Sepia.
I assume there's hippies.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so part of his sort of renown actually comes from a few years earlier.
Yeah.
He invented the isolation tank. So if you're familiar with an isolation tank, it's basically like a pod filled with salt water.
I've
that you
seen
get
that.
inside.
I saw it
Yeah.
in The Simpsons.
Yes, yes. There's
yeah.
an episode of The Simpsons where Homer and Lisa go into an isolation
Yeah,
tank.
yeah.
It's basically it's a big tank of salt water and saline enough so that you'll float in it, even though it's a small volume of
So
water.
cool. Yeah.
And they shut the lid on you, and it's completely dark. It's completely quiet. And you have no sensory stimulation whatsoever
Yeah.
because even the fact that your body's floating in water means that your skin eventually it's not touching anything, so you kind of start to lose even the sensation of like your body touching anything else. So it's
Yeah.
truly a sensory isolation tank.
Okay.
The original idea behind the tank was a theory that if you were to cut off all stimuli to a human brain, that the brain might either just shut off completely or start doing really wild stuff. Because
Yeah.
the idea was that they thought that the brain might just be like an input-output machine. So it's kind of like, well, maybe if we just don't have any inputs going in, maybe it just turns off.
Okay.
And then people in isolation tanks, sometimes they experience visions or
Yeah,
whatever.
like
or,
hallucinations and stuff.
yeah. So I mean, there might be something to it.
Maybe some
It's very
vertigo.
interesting. But so just to give an idea of the man, he's the guy who invented that.
Okay.
So that was in the 50s, and then a few years later in the 60s, he starts getting really interested in LSD and dolphins. Those are the two sorts of things that he gets really interested in.
Somehow connected. I don't know how, but okay.
It gets connected later in pretty much the most obvious way you can think of.
Oh
but-
no! I think I heard. Oh no!
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Oh,
I'm sure you have,
no.
Stephanie.
Oh.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me more.
So, John Lilly, he starts taking plenty of drugs himself, and he gets it in his head. Up until this point, humans are just default thought of as the smartest things on Earth. Why not? We can talk, we can, build cities and stuff. Duh, we're the smartest things on Earth. But there are other animals that are, pretty intelligent, and John C. Lilly starts thinking about other intelligent animals and the fact that we don't really know if they truly are less intelligent than us, or if they simply just don't sort of have the same means that we do of communicating, right? So it's like a dolphin could be smarter than a human. It doesn't have hands though. So one thing that means is, a dolphin can't in any of the same sense that we can build, a city. It can't really create a fire. It's underwater. So it can't sort of do the same kind of like tool use that we can, but that doesn't necessarily imply that they're actually less smart than us. Their brains are much bigger, like overall. And so John Lilly starts putting together a scientific experiment to see if he can get dolphins to communicate directly with humans.
Okay,
So
I'm down with that. Okay.
so the idea is that can you get a dolphin and teach it to speak English?
No, you can't. No.
That was the whole idea, was to figure out if you could or couldn't. Can you take a dolphin and can you teach it like to talk human words with its dolphin mouth?
Is it like dogs when they go like "I love you"?
Yeah, I hate it, by the way, when dogs do
Cringe.
that.
Yeah.
I hate it when animals try and speak English. It just creeps me out. It's
Yeah.
the worst thing. But I mean, think about it. Like at that point in time, like it had been known for centuries that like parrots
Yeah.
can
Okay.
replicate humans. Right? They're birds that are incredibly good at mimicking
How do you
noises
feel
that they
about
hear.
that though? You said it freaks you out. The parrots are fine.
Yeah, because parrots are good enough at it where it's not weird. Like it's the fact there's the uncanny valley of dogs talking, right? Where it's like, you know, if you've got a dog and it's just like whimpering and you can kind of understand what it's trying to say, that's cute. That's cute. And then over here, parrots, they're just talking whole sentences. Like, I'm a parrot, you know, like, oh sweet, that's talk. And then right in between those two extremes, there's a huge cleft. It's about 5,000 miles deep, and at the bottom of that is a dog going. That's the bottom of that French. Is a dog trying to speak English.
Right.
It's, and that's a huge barrier to cross.
Okay. What about dolphins?
Dolphins, as it turns out, you know, they do have, we suspect, a very, very complicated means of communicating with each other. A lot of it is ultrasonic, so we can't even
go
hear
like.
it. And a lot of that is in a frequency that we cannot. It's so high pitched we wouldn't be able to hear anyways.
Yeah.
And we don't really know how that language works. We know nowadays we have a few more hints than they did in the 60s. One of those hints, it's really interesting actually. Like dolphins, we do believe that they have names, because each dolphin, when we kind of listen in on their conversations, we don't know what they're saying, but we do know that each individual dolphin has like a specific, unique sound that it prefaces all of the communications with. Okay. So that sort of seems to imply that each of the dolphins, you know, if you have dolphins, they each have a unique sound that they start with, and then they have a series of sounds afterwards that you can kind of see, like, oh, like they all at some point say this series of noises, but none of them do this first part. It seems to imply that a dolphin, like, you know, has something that we would call a name, and that when it's talking, it announces the fact first. It's like, hey, I'm Allen, and I think there's fish over that way. You know, it's like to have an, and again, it's like, that's about as far as we can understand it, but that seems to be the implication, because it's like, you know, why else would within a pot of dolphins each one have a unique sound that it starts its statements off with?
It sounds like a Duolingo starting lesson when you're trying to learn Japanese and like, hi, my name is Estefannie. There is a food.
The thing that freaks me out the most is actually you can train two dolphins. I have no idea how you like scaffold them to this point, but dolphins, I guess, are just really smart. You can have two dolphins in a pool, right, in a zoo or whatever, in an aquarium, and you can actually teach them a trick that means, show me a trick that you've never shown me before.
Wait, you show them a trick that means?
No, you can get to a point where a trick that you ask them, like,
oh, you ask them.
Yeah, like a typical trick is like, you know, can you jump out of the water for me? Can you do a flip for me? Can you, like, you know, stand up on your tail for me? It's like, but you can actually get to a point where you can create a hand sign through whatever means of asking a dolphin, you know, show me something that I haven't seen before.
That's so cool.
And the thing is, you can do this with two dolphins. So both dolphins understand that they need to do the same thing that this person hasn't seen before. The dolphins will go under. There'll be a series of squeaks and whistles, and we don't
they synchronize.
But then both the dolphins will come up, and they will do a unique trick that they come up with on their own that the trainer who asks for that trick has not seen before.
But they both do the same thing in unison?
Yeah, so that means that not only can a dolphin understand the concept of, like, something that this dude hasn't seen me do before, it can come up with that idea and then tell the other dolphin, like, hey, I'm thinking this guy hasn't ever seen us, like, spin around in place and do two backflips. You want to do that? And the other guy's like, I don't want to do two backflips. What? I mean, I'm pretty sure this dude hasn't even seen us do 3 turns and 1 backflip.
Yeah.
And the other dolphin's like, all right, let's do that. And then they go up and they do it. Like, that's a very complicated series of ideas.
That's awesome.
That you have to be able to understand and then communicate with another dolphin. They're totally capable of that. But that's in this day and age. In the
I didn't
60s,
know that. Okay,
in
go.
the 60s, actually, the general thought was that dolphins were just bigger fish. Like,
Okay.
they were like dolphins are fish with big brains.
Okay.
And, you know, there wasn't the same amount of respect as dolphins get nowadays because there just wasn't as much understanding. But
Yeah.
that's why this experiment takes place where there's actually a group of 3 dolphins, but we're going to focus on one in particular named Peter.
Okay, Peter. It's
I
a
think
dude.
you may have
Okay.
heard of Peter before, but we're getting here.
No.
So, John C. Lilly happens to find a woman named Margaret Lovett. So Margaret had some experience observing dolphins before. She was in her 20s, and
Okay.
she was doing research, and John C. Reilly was actually like across the like university. He's like kind of on the other side or
Oh,
whatever.
what university?
Looks like the California Institute of Technology.
Okay.
So, you know, we're thinking sunny. It's thinking very, I mean, if you're talking the 60s in California,
Hey,
that's,
yeah, exactly.
that's pretty much where it's at.
I've seen Mad Men. I know.
Right. Now now that I think about it, I'm not sure if this actually occurred at the California Institute of Technology, but that's where John C.
Let's just
Lilly
say it was.
Sure. So he actually, Margaret Lovett actually hears about this research, and she asks if she can be involved with it. She was kind of inspired by, in her childhood, she had a particular storybook about a cat that could speak English or something. It was like a cat that could talk to humans, and she kind of recalled that. She was like, hey, I heard you're trying to talk to dolphins. I think it'd be neat.
Okay.
So she gets herself wrapped up for a couple months in probably the most 60s research that you can imagine. They this is NASA funded, by the way. They build a semi-aquatic environment that both Margaret and Peter can live in. And what this ends up being is it's essentially a 1-bedroom apartment, but there's always about 3 feet of water. So imagine like where you are right now. Like in this, you're in a house. Right?
My office.
It's got a desk. It's got a chair. It's like that, except there's also at all times about waist deep water for you.
Oh no.
So it's kind of like a compromise.
Oh no. And
so
this is a woman, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So she lived there for months.
What about bathroom situations?
She had a bathroom, I believe. I don't actually know how it worked, but I imagine it was probably maybe very similar to how Peter went to the bathroom.
Well, what about her period? Oh. Ooh.
The thing is, it was not, I think you're getting the idea here. It was not a great situation for her. She said that there were times where she would get up in the middle of the night to, I suppose, go to the bathroom or maybe grab a snack or whatever. And then like she would get into bed and like to travel anywhere, she would have to wade through waist deep water. And so she would just get into bed and it would be soaked. Like her bed was always wet. And she would just cry herself to sleep because of how miserable it was.
Yeah.
She did this for months. So the idea though was that you had to get a dolphin and a human to cohabitate so that they could like learn to understand each other. That was the idea.
Okay.
That was the idea. So Margaret lives with Peter, and she, during the day, gives him English lessons. She's basically an English tutor for this dolphin who has been roped into this experiment as much as she's been, and it doesn't go well at first.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, she.
So scared. I'm so scared.
A whiteboard, and she's like, like trying to teach him how to do vowels, and she's like doing like repeat after me exercises where she's like got a bucket of fish, and she's like, can you say my name, Margaret? And Peter's going, eh, eh. And if it's like even remotely close, she's like, oh, right here, have a fish.
No.
And Peter is an adolescent male dolphin, by the way. So he's like very rambunctious. He's a very difficult student, and he like doesn't at first he doesn't really understand what's going on.
Okay.
So there are times where they're actually just like yelling at each other. Like she is scolding him. Like these are all recorded on tapes. You can listen to these.
Okay.
She is scolding him like a school child because that was the whole point. Was like, yeah, pretend this animal is like a kid.
Okay.
Teach him English. And she's like, no, Peter, listen to me. Peter, say Margaret. Peter, no. Peter, and the whole time Peter's going,
Oh.
like, because the dolphin has no concept of human speech, so it doesn't modulate its volume. It just knows that there's like a hairless ape going at him, and so he's going back at her.
I think there's a thin line between this lady trying to teach a dolphin how to speak English and a crazy cat lady talking to their cats.
Well, I mean, the difference between science and screwing around is writing it down. That's the Adam Savage quote.
True.
So that all of this was recorded. You know, this is available
Science.
as data for anyone. The thing is, though, and this is where it gets creepier and creepier and creepier from here.
Oh no, I'm already cringing.
No. Peter he starts picking it up. Like after a few weeks.
Okay.
He starts kind of getting the idea of what's supposed to be happening. And so, like, you know, day after day, Margaret, they are living together. Every single day during the day, she's giving him English lessons. And he's starting to it seems like he's starting to pick it up. So you can listen in the recordings.
I want to listen to them.
She's trying, it's freaky. She's trying to teach him to count. She's like, all right, 1. And Peter goes, he's like, 1, 2. And he goes, like his tone starts kind of matching her tone.
Okay.
Towards the end, he actually, it's really, really weird. Dolphins don't have lips the same way we have lips. Like there are certain consonants, there are sounds that humans can make with our mouths that dolphins are physically incapable of making. So for
like B.
Yeah, for a name like Margaret. Right, it's physically actually impossible for Peter on his own to actually say the name Margaret. Yeah. But what he figures out is that if he leans over to his side and he submerges his blowhole underwater, he can actually use the surface of the water almost like a lip, and it can form a consonant that way. So he can kind of form like a sharp intonation by dunking into the water, and so you get. At a point, she's on. Can you say Margaret? And he kind of goes, he's saying the words, and at the T and the M, he's dunking his head underwater sideways to like try and make the T and the M sound. And it's way worse than a dog saying because it sounds like a drowning like goblin. Because it's shrieking, it's a dolphin high pitched, and it's like gurgly. But like you can tell like there is intent there. Like he is trying his hardest to repeat what he's hearing.
That's impressive. Which is Margaret, I feel bad for
and
Peter.
It comes out as and it's like, oh, that kind of sounds like Margaret. Like, dude, you're kind of getting it. Like this is weird.
Yeah.
Like
I kind of feel bad for Peter now.
Oh, well, you shouldn't because right around week 5 or 6.
Okay.
Keep in mind, Peter was not the only dolphin in this experiment. There were actually 2 other females, I believe, and they kind of had their own tanks that were like kind of things separate from the apartment setup that Margaret and Peter had. But the thing is, Peter kind of became infatuated with Margaret, even though he had access to girl dolphins. Peter actually seemed to develop something that we would call infatuation with Margaret. So he described that at times he would just swim over to her and then just put her foot in his mouth, and he would just kind of just float there gently, like holding hands basically, but he doesn't have hands. And dolphins have very sharp teeth, apparently. So the fact that he's like being gentle, and the fact that he's not doing this for any particular reason. He just is like wants to be near her.
But is it a weird thing or like a dog following you around?
Yeah, kind of like that, except
Okay.
also because he was an adolescent
Oh no.
teenage male, he would also start basically humping her leg. And it got to the point where like Peter was visibly aroused and would not pay attention to his English lessons because he would just be so uh, concerned about rubbing himself against Margaret's
No.
legs.
No. No.
And the thing is, Margaret is just trying to teach him English, and he is when he's like that, he is not doing his English lessons. He is not listening to her. He is just trying to start something. And so this is probably the most controversial part of this experiment, and probably the part that gets
I'm
the most
sweating.
recognition.
Yeah.
Is in order to keep him on track for his English lessons, Margaret would actually stimulate him with her hands and feet to completion. So she would get this dolphin off because once she did, he would start paying attention to his English lessons again.
Oh, so that's the solution? Oh,
so
great.
Yeah, about a month and a half of living together, the dolphin and the woman officially enter into a sexual relationship.
No. Is it all recorded too? Did she say something? Like, how did they know? Like, was somebody watching them? Or she just wrote it down, like, this is what I have to do?
I don't know if, because that doesn't make a lot of noise. I don't know if you could really tell when she's doing that to Peter.
There is water involved, so maybe there's some splashing sounds.
It depends on, there's a lot I don't know about rubbing a dolphin to completion. I don't know if it needs to be that vigorous or if it's more of a gentle affair.
Do dolphins make sounds while that happens? I don't know.
I do not know. Ugh. Definitely, if you want to look for it, it starts at about 5 or 6 weeks in. If you want to try and look for those particular recordings, I don't know if those are
I might.
Do have straight from the woman's testimony. That's something that she did, and at the time, it actually became a very kind of sensationalist headline. I think the research at that point was actually published in like Hustler or something, or like some like dirty magazine. They like really exaggerated kind of what actually happened.
Of course.
I mean, it was hand and foot stuff.
It was in the Cosmopolitan. How to please your man and also a dolphin.
Yeah, and also a dolphin. But the thing is, like for Margaret, it was very like. For her point of view, is very much just a thing to get on with the research.
Yeah.
Like she was not into Peter in that way. She just kind of saw it like a sort of like feeding him a treat, like just a thing you have to do.
I'm sorry, it's not the same thing.
That's what she said. That's what she claimed, was that there was never any reciprocation. Peter never did the same thing for her, but she just did it to Peter.
How? Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she could have come up with something if she really wanted to, but that was just so that he would focus on his English lessons, because again, like he was making progress at that point. Like he is speaking a gross, awful mockery of the human tongue, but he seems to get the idea.
That's crazy.
So, to keep him on track.
Give me 1 second. My computer unplugged and it's gonna die. I just realized that.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a good time for me to bring up our sponsor for today's video. This video is brought to you by Dolphin Sperm. Dolphin Sperm.
Oh no.
It sure is. It sure is sperm from a dolphin.
It's great for your skin.
It's great for your skin. But put it in your bath water. Put it in your ocean water. Get yours today as you start your free trial. Go find a dolphin and try and teach it English, and after about a month and a half, who knows? It's just what happens. Dolphin sperm. Get yours today.
Okay, go on. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you, sponsor.
Okay.
So
no, that's good. We got about $10,000 for doing that one.
Oh yes.
The dolphin sperm lobby is very powerful. I'm glad we got in with that.
People are commenting, but I'm not gonna read it yet. Okay.
Yeah. I'm telling you that. Yeah. Okay, so Peter and Margaret have officially entered into a sexual relationship. Meanwhile, the experiment is really, it's weighing heavily on Margaret as a human. She gets her hair cut like a buzz cut because she's sick of her hair getting wet from the ocean water that she's living in. She's crying herself to sleep.
Yeah.
She, is spending, I think she had to be there 6 out of 7 days. She had like 1 day a week. where she could leave and like be in the outside world. And during those days, she would she would basically be filled with regret and with like, what am I doing with my life? I'm jerking off this dolphin, trying to teach it English. Like the whole thing is not going well for her. Peter's just fine. Peter is having a lovely time.
Yeah.
He, holding what he probably perceives to be his girlfriend's foot in his mouth. He's like playing games with her that sometimes involve like squirting her with water, which he hates, but he understands that. There are good moments though. She has moments where she finds Peter to be very sweet. She has a story in particular about sort of introducing Peter to all kinds of sort of human objects, and one thing in particular that he is very obsessed with is a tea bag. Like she would brew herself tea in there, and she would drop the tea bag in the water and let him kind of investigate it. And he would just sort of like swim around it and hit it with his sonar and investigate what it was. And there was a lot of like it was very much kind of a Little Mermaid type of situation. She said that he was very interested in her fingers and toes, because her hypothesis was that because his fins were all fused, he basically thought that she was really weird for having like these gaps between her fingers. And so she said that he would spend time just like sort of nuzzling his nose, the ball nose don't, just kind of like nuzzling his nose in the gaps between all of her fingers, just be like, what is that? So there were some good times between her and Peter. A lot of good times with Peter. For her, not so much.
Oh God.
The thing is, I think it's shortly after it becomes sexual.
Wait, more than that?
Gone sexual, gone wrong. I think there were a few weeks after. I think total the experiment was about 2 or 3 months. But towards the end, John C. Lilly, he kind of starts getting further and further towards the deep end of drug use, and at one point he actually takes a group of dolphins and gives them LSD, and takes LSD at the same time to see if they can communicate on like a higher dimensional level, similar to how you kill people back in time by telling stories.
I didn't do anything.
And
oh no.
To Margaret and Peter's point, she claimed that she fiercely protected Peter in particular from ever taking LSD. She said that she never allowed John to dose Peter with LSD, but all the other dolphins were fair game. John Lilly would have LSD sessions with dolphins, and once word got out that A, he was doing drugs with dolphins, and B, his researcher cohabitating with a dolphin had entered into a sexual relationship with that dolphin. Once those two things got out, their funding was cut immediately.
NASA was like, I don't think so.
No more nothing.
No.
And for pretty clear reasons. It's like once your experiment becomes taking drugs and jerking off dolphins, like you're not
that is not in the name of science. Definitely not.
Oh yes, the magazine was Hustler, by the way, that reported on this story.
Okay, Hustler, gotcha.
Right. So once the experiment loses funding, obviously they can't pay Margaret anymore. They can't afford the dolphins enclosure anymore. So everything gets moved to an abandoned bank building in Miami.
Okay. Miami.
So the dolphins are now, they're not in properly sized tanks anymore. They're actually like in what I imagine, like, how Scrooge McDuck has like that pool full of gold?
Yeah.
I imagine it's something like that. It's like a bank vault that's been converted to hold ocean water.
That is
something
very sad.
Yeah, it's indoors. There's no windows. There's no actual like natural sunlight anymore.
Wait, are they still alive?
Yes. At this point, they're still alive.
That is so sad.
Thing is, there's no way to communicate to Peter what has happened. From his point of view, he is living with his girlfriend. They're having a great time. He's playing this weird game with her where he makes mouth sounds, and every so often she touches him with her foot in a way that he finds very pleasing.
Yikes.
And then one day, out of nowhere, he gets moved to Miami into an abandoned bank with no sunlight, and he never sees Margaret again.
Oh.
So he's heartbroken, and the thing is dolphins can actually commit suicide. That is a thing that I learned when I learned about this, is that dolphins unless they're like really, really injured or sick or otherwise incapacitated, a dolphin is never going to fail to reach the surface to breathe. You know, they got blowholes. Like they're not. There's no accidental dolphin deaths by drowning.
Okay.
You know, apparently.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So one day, bereft of Margaret, not living in a sweet apartment anymore, living in an abandoned bank,
Yeah.
Peter actually goes under the water and does not come back up, and he drowns. And it seems pretty likely that it was straight up suicide because he was so brokenhearted.
Oh no!
I told you! I beat you! I told you this story was going to be way sadder!
It's so sad.
Peter kills himself. He is literally Romeo here. He's an adolescent male in love, kills himself because Margaret's not there anymore.
The poor dolphin.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Margaret was very sad, but I think she got over it because again, it was never reciprocated. I don't think Peter understood that.
No.
Yes, about the.
That's crazy.
That's you know, in a way, it's even more. It's a pure innocence. You know, it's a dolphin that's in love with a human. And he doesn't understand that it's part of an experiment. He doesn't understand that she doesn't have the same feelings for him because all he knows is that he gets to rub one out every once in a while. He loves it. She throws him tea bags. It's great. They play mouth games. Yeah. And he loves her. He loves her to the point where when she is no longer in his life, he takes his last breath, he goes underwater, he doesn't come back up.
That poor dolphin. Like
Jay
said.
The tale of Peter and Margaret.
Peter and Margaret. This was a very sad story day, as Jay just said.
Yeah, let's see. Let me get caught up on all the comments here.
This podcast is depressing. Welcome to the depressing podcast.
Let's see. Yes, Jay, this is the story I choose to talk about.
Yeah.
Soy sauce. No, I'm sorry, they didn't get married. That's not a thing that can happen. I don't think dolphins and people can get married. Jay is no longer hungry. Well, I don't know what you're doing listening to this podcast, trying to eat anything.
Yeah, I mean, we're not eating.
Allen Pan, this podcast is depressing. Yeah, because I needed to beat Estefannie this week.
Yeah. You did a really good job though at telling the story. I had this. I was there. I feel like
to Peter and Margaret.
I feel bad for Peter. I don't feel bad for Margaret right now, but I also feel bad for her for having to live like at 3 feet of water all the time and being wet all the time. It sounds horrible and disgusting.
It was apparently miserable.
Yeah.
It apparently gets really, really just tiring.
This reminds me of another experiment that I might want to talk about next week.
It just makes me think of, you know when you're wearing socks and you step in like a puddle of something in like your fridge is leaking or someone spills something, you step in, like it's that, but
all the time,
half your body and all the time.
I wonder if her toes were like raisins, you know, like all wrinkly and stuff.
Oh, it was probably awful. Because she had to live in there.
Well, okay, we need to get over this sadness. So what is a good thing of this week that you have for us? Something good you've done.
This week, I had a very good test with a grappling hook launching system. I'm going to be doing a Friendsgiving with a couple other YouTubers.
That's fun.
Yeah, we're gonna
Can you say who?
So apparently we're gonna have a real Friendsgiving tomorrow night where we actually like eat like decent food, and then sometime over the weekend, maybe like Sunday or something, we gotta figure that out. We'll be doing like the video version of the Friendsgiving where we just try and do something awful with Thanksgiving food.
Okay.
Stuff that we've done before. I think the first year we did this, I cooked a turkey with molten aluminum, and then William Osmond made a gravy train.
I saw that.
Train that carried gravy in it. And shot gravy out of a. I mean the whole idea of it is it's always awful. The year after that, I froze a turkey in liquid nitrogen.
I saw your
And then-
video after that when you're like, so sick.
Oh yeah. Eating all the. It was awful turkey. It was really bad.
Yeah.
And Will made a swarm of basically line following robots that you could put dishes on. You could draw lines to tell them where to
Yeah, I
go.
saw it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
it always works a little. And so
I mean, yeah.
This year, I don't know about the other dudes. I am personally going to be seeing if I can cook a turkey with thermite.
Thermite's
see how
like the bug?
No, thermite it's a chemical reaction
Oh.
between aluminum and iron oxide,
Can
rust,
you
basically.
eat it after?
You probably shouldn't, but we're gonna.
Oh no, you guys are crazy.
It's fine. It's literally just the pretty much just makes molten iron, which is good for your blood, good for your anemia.
Is it?
No, not at all. We're still gonna do it.
That's
Anything
good.
for the views. I mean, jump off the Eiffel Tower, eat some chemicals you're not supposed to. It's the same principle.
Jerk off a dolphin. Yeah.
Jerk off a dolphin. You got to do it for the science.
Do it for the science.
I really felt like there was some scientific achievement, like a unified theory, right? Like if I was like, okay, we can definitely unlock this part of the universe, but I have to jerk off a dolphin every day to do it. That's a small price to pay.
Oh my god.
It's an absolutely worthwhile price to pay.
I
For
mean,
unified theory, you wouldn't jerk off a dolphin?
no,
Estefannie!
no.
Estefannie! A unified theory, it would, for on a macro scale and a micro scale, the entire cosmos could be explained, which in a way that we cannot do right now.
I have other priorities.
Like there's so you'd be able to know, like what occurs beyond the event horizon of a black hole. You'd be able to understand. Like,
okay, wait. Let me tell you why I would do it.
Phenomenon like entanglement in a way that we don't understand. And you're telling me you wouldn't jerk off a dolphin to know all that?
Because I have a better priority. I would do it if I had to do it, but that meant that all of the plastic from the ocean would be removed, then I would do it.
You would jerk off a dolphin to remove all the plastic in the ocean,
yes.
but you wouldn't do it for a unified theory.
I'd rather have the oceans clean.
No, it's like I could. Okay, everyone's got a lot.
I told you I have my different priorities, and that's fine. Everybody can jerk off a dolphin for their own preference.
I feel like if dolphins ever did learn English, they would just spend all their time trying to trick girls like you into jerking them off. Like, hey, Estefannie, if you get me off right now, I promise that all the plastic in the ocean will be gone. If dolphins could speak English,
they would say that to you.
All they would ever do.
They would say that to you too.
Swim up to tourists in like Hawaii and be like, hey, I'm a magic dolphin.
She looks like a hippie. She looks like a hippie.
Peace happens.
Yeah.
I will feed every starving kid in the world. Just jerk me off right now.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's a good thing that they don't know English then, right? Because otherwise it'd be a mess.
It won't happen. But here's my thing. Here's my happy thing for this week. I just want to recommend to everyone listening and you as well, if you got Disney Plus. I've been watching this documentary about Imagineering, and it's fantastic. I'm having a great time watching it, learning about, Walt's dreams and how he built that park and how they ran out of money and he had to put, he spent all of his money. He took out his life insurance. He did some crazy stuff to be able to finish that park, and then it was barely finished, and the first day was like a complete failure. But after that, of course, it went great. And then it just goes on and about that and how his brother took over when he died. And I think it's very interesting. It shows the good CEO, the bad CEO. It's super interesting. I learned about green mailing, which is like blackmailing, but essentially you buy a lot of stocks and then you tell the company, I'm going to take over. And then they're like, here's 30 million. And you're like, thanks, bye. I was not going to take over, but yeah. So green mailing. Yeah. So I really, really recommend that Imagineering documentary. It's like an episode a week, and it's on Disney Plus. This is not sponsored. I just thought it's amazing. That's my share.
No, we're sponsored by Dolphins.
We already stated that. Yes, exactly.
Very, they're staunch competitors with Disney Plus.
Yeah.
They're fierce competitors. Totally. We would never. I mean, we probably just lost our sponsorship with the fact that you mentioned Disney Plus just now. We're never going to get any of that dolphin semen money again. I hope you understand.
Hopefully
they
not.
Paid us $10,000, Estefannie. They would have given us way. All right. Well, that's fine.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening. This is Allen Pan,
and I'm Estefannie.
This is Estefannie. And we
love you guys.
We love you. Bye.
Do we actually know how to stop the stream now when we actually say that?
I'm gonna try this time.
Where we